this song.
Yes. Now, from left to right, who am I talking to? Yeah, you right there.
Hi, my name is Gonzalo Trigueros.
All right.
Jacques Point du Jour.
I am Oliver Mann.
All right. Do y'all have social media?
Oh, yeah,
Facebook,
absolutely.
all that? All right, let us know that.
Sure. So the Facebook, you can go on Facebook and type in Such a Funny Life, Oliver Mann, and that's the film that we're promoting, the feature film. And these are two actors, I'm the director.
You're the director?
I am, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Absolutely. So, we'll
Tell me about this.
Sure. So
Now,
this,
hold on. Let's go back. Do y'all have Instagram?
Yes, sir.
Individual Instagram and...
I got one for the film, so...
You got one for the film?
Yeah,
all right, yeah, so we'll promote that.
it might be at Such a Funny Life.
That's such a funny
At
life.
Such a Funny Life, I'm sure.
What's yours?
You can look up Gonza.Trigueros. That's my Instagram.
Okay.
You can find my IG at JOC_DC.
Now tell us about this film.
Sure. So the film is it's about a stand-up comic which is played by Gonzalo Trigueros, and it's about a stand-up comic that struggles in a household where his mother suffers from autism, and she's like a very closed-off person because the father is also very abusive. So it's a very deep film. It's about this we actually see the actor from a kid that grows up, and we see the evolution. I also have the kid actor, which is Jesse Ray Sheps. We watch the evolution of David. David Gutierrez is the main character. We watch him kind of struggle in this household. And not only that, he struggles in the environment with a lot of peer pressure and things that he wants to do to blow up in comedy. And then he also has his friend Rob Parker, which is played by Jacques, which is kind of like a very influential character that influences him to kind of delve into the street world, but David wants to delve into comedy.
Break away from it, no? Like, get away from...
Break away from the streets.
Break away from the streets, and not only that, he wants to blow up in the comedy world, but he has all these things against him. He has his family household, and he also has his environment, which is peer pressure. And it's by these two actors that are great, amazing.
Okay, now, is this set in a certain city?
New York. It's all here.
It's all New York.
It's all New York. We shot it all in New York. It took me 7 years to make it, 83 minutes. 7 years to make it because I couldn't get a person to finance it because of my first feature film. So, I had to, each year I had to save up money, and these two guys have been with me for 4 years? 5 years, like around 5 years from the moment I auditioned them, and I knew that it was them, and every year I was like, all right, fellas, I think we're going to shoot it. All right, next year. All right, fellas, I think we're going to shoot it. And then we finally shot it in 2016.
And you shot it in the Bronx, Brooklyn?
We shot some in the Bronx, we shot some in Queens, and some in Brooklyn. Every borough, pretty much.
Yeah,
Okay.
in Manhattan, too.
And, of course, in Manhattan, and comedy clubs in Manhattan.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
It's a dope film, man. It's very different. It's not, it's about a stand-up comic, but you just see him go through a lot of stuff. Well, I'll say a lot of shit, if you will.
A lot of shit, okay.
A lot of shit, yeah.
Now,
We can curse on here, right?
Yeah, you good.
Okay.
So, 7 years to make.
7 years to make.
How long did it take to write it?
I would say, if I started 7 years ago, I would say the first year was all writing it, right? It was called coming up with a concept. I was writing it throughout the whole 7 years, all rewrites, until the last day of filming, to be honest. So,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, to come up with an actual script.
I mean, we get pages on set.
Yeah, of course.
We'd be like, oh, we gotta...
Yeah. It's a continuous thing, man. It's really a continuous thing. So, the first year, maybe after a year, I was confident in bringing on the actors and auditioning from my Bronx apartment.
Oh, wow.
910 Sheridan Avenue.
Wow. What
Trying to
made
get
you
that thing.
What made you add the Alzheimer's element to it? Because that's different.
Yeah, was autism.
Autism,
Yeah,
sorry.
she's autistic, meaning I don't know. I had this idea of a character who's closed off, but she's fighting through this barrier to stay strong. And you see that it's played by an actress named Nastasia Strang. Amazing. And hopefully, after this, we can show you guys a trailer or post a trailer on your website, and people can check out the trailer to see the gist of the film because it shows a lot of the different characters in it. And what we love about the film is it's a true New York story. Everyone looks different.
Right.
Everyone looks different. Every culture, every nationality is in this film. It's not just one nationality, not just one skin tone. It's everyone looks different because everyone is facing different problems in this film. Yeah.
Now, a lot of directors and writers I know, they usually do their first film based on real life experience. How much of this is you?
None.
None.
Nah. Because I find it more interesting just to write. There's no barrier when I create characters, and I can just go off the wall, right?
Right.
If I use my own life, I have to stop somewhere. I can't continue. I know exactly where it's going to end. With these characters, you can pretty much say I go through a form of hallucination, right? A form of hallucination and write these characters, and there's no holds barred. There's no holds barred. So we can do that, and then Gonzalo and Jacques help me expound on this and bring these characters to life, and then they give me their opinions and what these characters would do in their character world, whether it's mannerisms or just dialogue, right?
Right.
Okay. Jacques, tell me about it. What was it like filming this?
What was it like
For you,
for me?
feeling-wise?
While we were shooting it, and just the entire process, it was interesting, to be honest. I had a really fun time. I had an amazing partner to work with. Oliver's a really good person to work with too. Diving into the character, to be honest, wasn't that hard for me because I grew up around some people like him who are in situations that Rob was in, and I do have all different types of friends too. And you're gonna see if you watch the film also that David, who was played by Gonzalo, he's a little quirky, he's a little weird. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Rob actually is friends with him. He would never think that he would be friends with somebody like that based on his scary demeanor, but he is. So I really, with my character, had fun with him.
Now, was this your first time acting?
No, it wasn't my first time acting. I've acted in several things before that, as far as short films and all that. But this is my first full-length feature film. If that makes any sense. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. My man, how about you? What was your energy? What was you feeling when you?
I hate that I can't see you when I speak. There he is. I felt a big responsibility because I'm number one on the call sheet, so I set the tone for everyone else. You kind of, lead role, whatever. That aside, the responsibility of the character, of bringing to life, his vision of the responsibility of keeping a nice set, being good to work around and having people actively create an environment that they want to create, that they want to, give ideas. And that's one of the great things about working with Oliver is that he's very collaborative. He wasn't precious about his writing or his directing for that matter. And what I mean is that he didn't tell me, oh, you have to be word for word for this. He was like, feel it out, see how you go, and let's play with that. And that led us to, so many moments that weren't scripted, but the script gave us the DNA, the structure of it. It was an amazing process. It was a stressful process, but an amazing process.
Was this your first time acting?
No. I'm a masochist. I've been doing this since I was like 12.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But first full feature, and on this magnitude as well. It was crazy. It's a crazy trip to think that we're here now. It's pretty dope.
Now, how was picking up the comedy part? How was that?
That part was great. Not great. That was scary because I hadn't done stand-up before. And I said to myself, I can't play a stand-up comedian without knowing what that's like. So I actually did hit up open mics. We actually did a couple with Oliver. And then I did a bunch by myself. And more so than the stand-up, David is a vagabond. And fortunately, I didn't have to live with that reality, but I had to immerse myself in that. So for 2 days, I did sleep on the streets, and I did see, what that's like. How does that affect somebody? How does that affect how you interact with somebody who's going through that? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of fronting that goes on because David's family life is shit. David's family life is shit, but then in front of everyone else, in front of Rob, in front of anyone else, he has the clown comes out, If I can and usually the people that make people laugh the most, nobody ever cares to make them laugh or see them smile.
Right.
And then it's those moments when they're by themselves, and it's just a mirror that you're like, damn, that person's gone through some shit,
Who phone is pinging?
Why you look right at me? You looked right at me.
Can you unping before
I
you
will.
ask your question?
Yes.
Before you ask your question,
I know.
unping,
I know.
please.
I know.
Unping. I'm like, this pig is like.
And you know what? I thought
going
people
on?
just could rock out through it like
Right.
it's not me.
I was like,
Nope. I was
So did you
going
now-
to, can I? Okay.
are you unpinged yet?
I'm-
no, you're unpinged.
No.
Keep that
Finny.
question in your
Okey-dokey.
cerebral cortex.
No problem, sir.
And then we'll get to it.
Carry on.
Did you actually sleep in the street for a night or two?
I did. I slept at Penn Station and at Central Park.
You did?
I did. I told
Oh
you.
God, man, I feel
And at
bad.
Central Park, at Central Park, it was. I mean, how could? It's a very hard bridge, you know. Like, how can? I don't know. I didn't think it would be fair to the character to just go in it and imagine it. You know, you could imagine to a certain degree, but sleeping on the streets is free, and it was a great experience. And
Did anybody bother you while you was?
there was a couple homeless dudes that were kind of like they were
Like,
upset
you are
that
my
I-
bitch.
Like,
I
who
was-
are
I-
you?
I took his spot. That
That's
there's like
what I'm
there's a
saying.
hierarchy of things that you don't know that goes on in the
Yes.
streets. And I know I set up my shit. I had my notebook out or whatever, and homie comes up and he's like, "Yo, that's my spot." And I was like, "I'm out," you know.
Yeah, 'cause get out of
I'm
there,
out,
dude.
You know.
Yeah.
It's.
What was there to set up?
I mean, for me, just a book bag to lay on, and then just
Cardboard
like a spot.
box?
Yeah, and I didn't go that hard. I just,
Okay.
but that is good to not get dirty, not get bugs on you, not get actually good for cold too. I did it when it wasn't as cold. But yeah, I had a couple of weird like interactions, and then people are like, "You're fucking insane." I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm an actor.
And now for this role, you also slept in Penn Station,
I slept in Penn State. Yeah.
inside Penn Station,
That
or
is taking-
on the stairs outside.
No, you know how they have those like the bus, not the bus, like those seats that they have for buses,
Mhm,
like in
sure,
train
sure.
stations. I slept like that, super uncomfortable. The next day you wake up and you're like,
And
oh,
did you
God.
really get any sleep?
No, no way.
You're just awake.
No way. I wrote a lot. I thought a lot. I read the script, and it kept going back to that. I mean, I'd go to sleep and I'd wake up every day listening to The Doors, to People Are Strange. That was like my David song, and that took me to a certain place. And I mean, on set, these guys were like, "What the fuck is he
Like
doing?"
he's-
Because I was like in full out weirdo mode,
Yeah.
Like, now I'm toned down. Now I'm calm. I won't bite anybody. I'm good here.
So did you study method acting? Like, are you a method actor?
I've studied it, yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't categorize myself as method acting. I think to some degree, yeah, all acting is method acting, and when you get bogged down into one technique or one label, it's limiting to a certain degree. I do what I feel needs to be done for the character. I have my actor toolbox. I've been trained in acting where I'm like, I can pick from here and there, but it's very instinctive. With this process, it was instinctive, and the writing helped too. I believe at the very core of any great performance, it's all in the script.
Sure.
It's just our job to mine it out, to get it out of the DNA of the script. Unfortunately, you're working with good writing, so it makes our job a lot easier. I don't think there's anything worse as an actor to work on bad writing. You're like, how am I going to make this line sound
How
real?
am I going to make this sound good
Right, because
or
I'm on
believable?
camera, not you. You're back there writing shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Put shit on the page.
right? Like, and you got to make it sound like it's a real
Now,
thing.
Jock, with the street side of things, right? In this feature film, as far as the street goes and him trying to get away from it, what role do you play? You help him out?
I didn't really need to help him out because his character actually, the script explained it. They are opposites that attract, if that makes any sense.
Right.
It's like if you have a buddy you knew since, because these characters knew each other since adolescence. How old were they when they?
At 11, they were 11.
Were like 11
A little bit, no, yeah, I think
like 8, between 8 and 11.
between 8 and 11, right.
Yeah,
They start
so-
in elementary school, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so I would say 8.
Exactly.
8
yeah.
years old. Let's go with
So
that.
there's this little kid who's much cuter than me, who played me in the film, and basically they were always opposites. They was always in two different worlds. So I didn't think I needed to help him in that world because him being uncomfortable on screen was always good for that scene, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Because when my character introduces him to this world, he is a little like off put, like Like I never been here before, and that's good. So there wasn't nothing that I needed to bring him to the streets for as far as
Right.
when it came to his character.
Right. So, and you didn't have to research the role. You knew your role already. 'Cause you said you got friends like that.
Yeah, I have some friends that I grew up around. I have older people that I grew up around. So I had an idea of who Rob was,
Okay.
if that makes any sense. Yeah.
And you didn't die in this film, did you? Please don't say you're the black guy that died.
Yeah, please don't. Don't you so
You're gonna have to
stupid.
watch it, man. I can't tell you that.
But that's true.
You killed my man, son.
You'll be surprised, man. This is an unconventional film, so
That's dope.
I will
It
let
takes-
you know that people. I don't know if I can't give you the ending for it, but it's a very
No, we're gonna
unconventional
watch
film.
it. You
Yeah,
gonna
where is
send
it
me the
gonna
trailer.
be shown at?
Sure. So it's gonna be in a Brooklyn theater, August 13th. I think it's called Court Street RPX. Once I send you guys the link on your website, people listen to the interview, see the trailer, they can click on the link and go to the theater in Brooklyn. So we're gonna have a run starting August 13th in Brooklyn, and we're gonna test it out and see how long it runs there. Maybe for a couple weeks, maybe for a couple months, because we did get distribution for the film, which means the distributor picked it up, is now placing it in films, and we're doing interviews, and we're doing and they're reviewing the film all this month. So this film is picking up some steam, and it's
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a-
and you didn't go to the Sundance Film Festival.
I once I finished the film, it took me a long time to finish the film. So I said, you know what? Let me go straight for the meat and potatoes. I want this to go straight to the theaters. So I submit to a couple of festivals, but the primary reason to go to a festival is to get picked up, so you can go to a theater.
True.
So a distributor picked up the film before we went to festivals because he dug the screener for the film, and he said, you know what? I dig this. So I kind of said, all right, well, we got this film on the run. We got momentum. We might as well take this to the theater. So we kind of surpassed the festivals. I can still
Right.
submit it to festivals after, in case we want to do some shaking hands and drink some wine and talk to a whole bunch of people, blah blah blah.
Right.
But I think we reached a plateau as far as bringing it to the theaters and getting it to a mass audience, because what beats a festival to me is getting it to a theater and getting a mass audience to watch it. That to me, that was the main goal.
And the name of the film again.
Such a Funny Life.
Such a funny life.
Such a funny, and let's not be mistaken, it is a drama. It is about a stand-up comic, but it is a complete drama.
And it has its moments that are lighter, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
So
definitely.
it's a drama with some funny parts.
It's a drama about a stand-up comic, sure. But if you were to look at the synopsis and you were to look at the way the film is set up, it does not say comedy. It says drama and thriller and crime. So it is a drama.
Crime.
Absolutely.
That's where you come in.
But I mean, like,
That's my
let's
guy.
not paint I mean, he's kind of a leader of the streets. You know, he's not, you know, some thug out there. This guy has a nice operation going.
Right.
You know, and he
Right.
taking on the protective role to David
Sure, yeah.
gives him a hand.
So so he is like basically Omar
Well, yeah, in a
without the murdering.
Well, I think, from what I remember, Omar had a lot of different shades to him, right?
Exactly.
He had-
That's why I said he's Omar.
Right, he had shades where I think he felt wrong sometimes for what he was
Yes.
doing,
Yeah.
and that's the same thing with Robin. I think that's what Gonzalo was getting
That's
to
what
when
he
I
is.
said it's a crime drama thriller. I'm just saying that, but once you see the film, there's so many layers and so many feelings in this. It's really hard for me to categorize what this is. It's a film about feelings, about people doing wrong, about people doing right, about regret, about betrayal, about redemption. So, you know, I can only say crime, drama, thriller, but this is a very humanistic film.
So this
How
is
many
real life.
how many films
For
have
sure.
you done?
I've done short films before this, and I worked on set. You know, I was a film rat, meaning I worked on set as a grip, as a PA, worked in catering. So I've been working in the film industry since 2005, maybe.
Oh wow.
And then eventually I started directing my own short films, started writing the way that Jacques is doing now, the way he's writing short films. I started off on that path. And then eventually I said, you know what, my brain is too wild. I need to create a feature film. I needed to go to the big leagues. And then that's what I did.
Now, did you go to any writing classes?
I went to a lot. I studied a lot, And eventually we studied writing. I went to a school called Full Sail in Florida, which was for recording arts. And it was just, it was like a boot camp for arts. You learned about music, you learned about writing, you learned about public speaking, you learned about editing, you learned about sound design. After that, I went to New York Film Academy, where I studied writing. I studied how to put shots together. After that, I went to School of Visual Arts for producing commercials, where I learned more about the producing side. And then after that, I pretty much learned from people on set. And then, you know, I read avidly different scripts, and I also used to write poems. I used to write songs. So I had a deep history in writing. And, you know, I came up with Such a Funny Life, and it just turned out that it wasn't corny. And I said, you know what? I'm going to spend the next couple of years working on this, and it turned out to be 7.
So Oliver, you really are the sexy bald director.
Yeah,
Here we go.
No, I already,
You Me Too them already?
already. Every single one of them.
I won't tell.
Every single-
I won't tell.
Every
Okay.
single one of them.
Now, what about you guys? Did y'all go to school? Any school training
Yeah.
for acting and writing?
I went to school for acting. I went to the American Musical Dramatic Academy. And it was, I mean, they have a program for musical theater and for acting and for dance, and I did acting, which was on camera work, a lot of body work, a lot of voice work, stage combat, dance, you know, just getting your instrument prepped. But really the best school, I think, for anything is to just do it. You know, there's the things that you learn on set that they'll never teach you in a class, you know, and there's the, you learn doing it, you know, and you do it with great people, you learn even more, you know. But yeah, AMDA was good to me. It was good.
What about you, John?
I have taken separate classes here and there. I've actually worked with the New York Film University, because they have these programs sometimes where they actually want actors who are in the field already to come in and work with their students. So
Okay.
I've taken a lot of classes with that, but I haven't really gone to an academy for it per se. And I've also taken classes during back in my younger years in high school. I had like 4 straight years of just performance art, like Actors 1, Actor 2, Actor 3, Movement for Actors. So I've always been studying it some way, somehow.
Because, you know, you got to have patience to do what y'all do.
Yeah, I swear.
Like real patience. Because being on set, as you know, you can take it this angle, 1 take, 2 take, 3 take, 4 take,
It is forever.
and then still do it all over again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
For 1 shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, people would be surprised. There's a lot of waiting on set. There's a lot of waiting on set for
Everyone.
for the electric department to set up, the camera crew to set up, for me to go over blocking, for me to check the art department, the wardrobe. So, you know, it's a system, man. There's a lot of waiting before we actually shoot. And then I have to worry about the actors, because they're in character and they want to hurry up and shoot, right?
Right.
So it's a lot of circling around and make sure everyone is content with what's going on. But the actors, it's a lot of waiting for them, man.
It really is
Sometimes
a
I look at them
14-hour
like,
day.
Jesus. I'm like, wow, man. I know you guys want to go on soon, and but it's about making the shot right, about bringing that final product together to make it look amazing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of waiting.
And then it's like, in my experience, it's like, let's say I'm in the scene with you.
Right.
I nail it, right?
Right.
Boom. But then I have to redo the scene for your shot in the scene.
Right. Yeah.
But I have to be the same way, so I can't, you know, just be slack with it. I have to be in character continuously for you to feel my same energy, so we could mesh together. I think that's an amazing art and talent you 3 guys got.
You gotta love it too. You gotta be in love with what you do, and that's what I like about it. Like whether you're directing or being an actor or a producer on set, if you love what's going on, every second that passes by, you're gonna be cool with it. You understand? Because you respect the process.
Right. Now, how quick do you guys learn your lines, though? You're talking about a feature film.
Right.
I mean, but I had my Bible. Like, I call it my Bible. I had my script with all my writing, all my work on it, and all my things. And so, you know, in the times that you can have between takes, you can look at it. But I'm quick with that. Side note onto what we were saying earlier about like being on set and having to do it like, you know, my side then your side and stuff. We had very generous actors on set. Sometimes it'll happen that you have, like, for example, you do your take and then you have to do the other person's take, and then they'll have a stand-in, you know, do the reverse. because
Right.
the person goes to their trailer or whatever it may be. Fortunately, on this set, everyone was very generous, and not only that they gave the time, but they gave that energy. They're
Okay.
like, the camera's not on me, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna give it 100.
Give it 100%. That's dope.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
And
That's
did you
dope.
find another layer of it having to do comedy? Because I feel like that's a whole other, world of creativity.
Yeah.
Because it's scary to get up there and to make people laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I mean, that's terrifying.
That's horrible.
If you think about it, if you walk into a room, you're like, my objective is to make all of you laugh.
Right.
Laughter's subjective.
It
like,
is.
what you find funny, what you find funny, what you find funny. Like, and a lot of it was creating your own jokes. Fortunately, I had a good template from what Oliver had written, but I did have some of my own jokes made the film. And the scary thing is that you're going into an open mic where it's 4 other comedians who are just as jaded or more and or drunk.
Yeah.
And you're like, if my comedy lands there, then around normal people, I should be all right,
So when you said that you went to a stand-up comedy to do stand-up for
Very,
2
yeah.
days. So you made up your own jokes?
I made up my own jokes. Yeah, some of them are actually in the movie. I was on the streets for 2 days, but I did the stand-up open mic stuff for a long time. I mean, we went to 2 together, but then I went to a bunch by myself. Eastville, the Grizzly Pear, all these like unknown little clubs, where they're like, we have
shout out to
open
the
mic
Grizzly
nights,
Pills, my people over there.
I love those guys. Those guys are great with me. George is there. He's George Stravo.
Yeah, I know George,
He's
yeah.
awesome. But yeah, all around the city. Yeah, I wrote some jokes, and then some of them don't land, and some of them do, and you're like, damn, that sucked.
That was bad. I
That
should have
was
said
bad.
that.
Yeah.
But
Now,
sometimes
as
it
far
depends.
as the score,
Sure.
who did that music? for
Very
you?
good question, man. An artist named Kelly Say. She's based out of New Jersey. She actually performs in LA. I think it's with. I think she's the lead singer for the band of Dancing with the Stars, maybe. Don't quote me, but I know she does. She also released an album years ago. But Kelly Say, Kellisae, and she.
beast.
Yeah, man. It's a very warm undertone, but very dark. It's not overbearing. This film was crafted very carefully to make sure it's not a bad, cheesy film. So we want to make sure the score was great. We want to make sure the acting was great. Besides, within that 7 years, I say about a year and a half, it took me to edit the film. Me and the editor, Eric Hermisman. It took us to edit the film to make sure everything was in place. But she did the score, and then we also got some other artists from a website called Soundstripe.com. And, they kind of fit the tone that Kelly was doing for the film. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's a really, really, really cool,
Man, I
cool
look
tone
forward
to
to
film.
this, man. I'm gonna give you my info. You gotta send me all of that stuff so we
I
can
will do that.
post
Absolutely.
it. Even if you got snippets on Instagram and stuff like that,
Oh, we do.
Facebook, whatever.
Tons of stuff. Absolutely.
Let's do it. Once again, the name of the film is
Such a Funny Life.
Such a Funny Life. I'm living that right now. Let me tell you.
I think
And
we all are.
On Facebook, there's a Facebook page for it, right?
Facebook,
Sure.
you could put facebook.com, type in Such a Funny Life, and then my name, the director, Oliver Mann, and it'll pull up. I'm sure it'll
It'll all
pull
pull
up.
up.
It'll all pull up.
All
Such
right.
a Funny Life.
And how can we check you guys out? One more time.
Instagram is probably the easiest way. Gonza, Gonza, period, Trigueros, my last name, Trigueros. There you'll find clips, you find everything there. Or my
Oh,
website
perfect.
too.
Perfect.
All right, same with me. You can find me on Instagram, JOC_DC.
Okay.
Find
August
everything.
13th
August 13th
13th
in Brooklyn, exactly.
in Brooklyn.
In
I'm
Brooklyn.
there.
I would be there.
I'm there.
I want to see you guys. Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
there. I'm in there.
Can we shout out Chris Robinson, who's on my live?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's